Hi, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us on this afternoon for the Patronicity informational session. Welcome back. Happy New Year to everyone. I'm going to apologize in advance for being low in energy. I am coming on the other side of a respiratory infection and just trying to take it one breath at a time. So, I'm going to just give a couple of housekeeping items. One, this meeting is being recorded. So if you do miss something, we will be sending out a recording to you all at the end of this session. We will also send a recording to anyone that has not been able to, that was not able to make it on this afternoon so that the information is accessible. We do have the Patronicity team with us today. They will be going through a presentation, and at the end of their presentation, there will be an opportunity for questions and answers. So please feel free to jot your questions down and then present those towards the end. In addition, we are going to ask that you remain on mute until the presentation is over, and then when Q&A come up, to come off mute or to type your questions in the chat box. Lastly, um, a intake form, an interest intake form for this program has been sent out. The PDF version of it was sent out for you to review earlier this week. A Survey Monkey version of it will be provided to you all today or tomorrow. And we are asking that if you're interested in participating in this program, that you fill that document out by the end of next week on January 17th. I'm just going to note that this project has very tight timelines. And so there's very minimal opportunity for flexibility. So if you want to participate, we're asking that you go ahead and take care of all required documentation so that we can get any additional contracts and agreements taken care of. With that being said, I will pause and see if there are any questions for me from the PRC partners. And if not, then I will pass things on to Ibrahim from Patronicity.
Sorry, I just wanted to come off mute for a second, Kyla, and also lift up, if everyone recalls, last month, we also had T-shirts going out with, for the PRC partners. And they should have been sent out. We hadn't heard anything, so we just want to make sure that if you all received your T-shirts, to please let us know. If you haven't, to also please let us know. And we will now pass off to Ibrahim. Thank you.
Thank you both. Welcome everybody. My name is Ibrahim Barachia. I'm president of Patronicity, and I'm joined here with my colleagues, Bridget and Marina as well. Our presentation today is going to cover our partnership and the program with ISC. It is a crowdfunding opportunity, and really excited to launch this second round of this program. So Patronicity, this comes from the idea that anybody and everybody can become patrons of their city. That is really important to us, and people caring about their towns and their neighborhoods. Our mission is we use civic crowdfunding to build vibrant communities, connecting change makers like you who are doing incredible projects on the ground with funding partners like ISC to support community-led projects. We have a strong focus in sustainability and environmental and climate justice, and that's why we're really excited to partner with ISC and further any opportunities for climate resilience within the communities that you all work within. Our vision is to revolutionize development of projects, transform communities by utilizing crowdfunding and crowd granting. If you've never crowdfunded before, don't worry, that's what we're here for, to help you, walk you along those processes and those steps, to learn it's not any more difficult or challenging than typical fundraising, and to see how you can become really successful at it. And lastly, to empower change makers to create more sustainable, healthy, and equitable communities. How our program and our process works: change makers like yourselves identify opportunities. You have projects you're working on. We provide the platform with one-on-one coaching, and that develops a strategy to reach and meet and exceed those fundraising goals. Community members, they get buy-in by supporting those projects. You are connected in the communities that you work with, and it's connecting those people with those ideas to raise dollars to see that community change. And then ultimately, a part of this program, ISC and their funding partners are going to be providing a match of up to $15,000 to projects that raise dollars through crowdfunding. So we're really excited for this partnership and this program. We'll get into a little bit more on how to run those crowdfunding campaigns, what types of projects are eligible in the budgets, a little bit later as Marina will go through that. I'll hand it off to Bridget.
Ibrahim, I get to tell you about crowdfunding and why we at Patronicity really provide these resources to you. First, crowdfunding, you probably have all heard about it. You might have given to a fundraising campaign online. We always tell folks the crowd comes before the funding. And the magic of our work is actually combining that broad-based community support that you'll capture with crowdfunding with a grant. So the next slide kind of highlights this term we created, but it's this concept, like Ibrahim mentioned, that a broad-based group of community supporters, your neighbors, your friends, your family, should have a stake in the development of your communities and the projects that you're undertaking. And so that's kind of the basis of our program. So we want to, for individuals who are donating to the campaign, who are crowdfunding and helping you raise the funds you need to be able to help you qualify for the match from ISC. And really, it is about leveraging those community stakeholders. And we always want those individual members of your community to physically feel bought in for the change that they want to create. The next slide just kind of highlights one of the quotes from our partners. We really serve as coaches. You all are the folks doing the work. We are just what we call kind of personal trainers. We can't tell you how to do the awesome stuff that you're doing, but we can empower you with tools and tips and tricks on how to do that. So a couple of things about the why we do this work. One, we want to help you learn how to build a successful crowdfunding campaign, and we want you to be able to have the tools and strategies you need. We also have a series of resources on Patronicity Resources that really helps you understand the systems and processes that you'll utilize. And then the next slide is really just reminding you that crowdfunding isn't your only fundraising solution. It's actually just a great tool. It helps you communicate, engage, it helps you build a donor base, and ultimately helps you create a public narrative so you can gain some of those fundraising skills. And then last but not least, we always think having information online, being able to share that quickly allows you to engage donors really quickly. So that is just a little bit about how we work, the tool that we want to help you use, which is your crowdfunding page. And next, I'm going to hand it over to Marina, who will serve as your coach to give you a deep dive in how to build a successful crowdfunding page and go into the program details.
Thanks, Bridget. So what you can see here is an example of what a project page would look like. And so you're going to create your own title and tagline. Usually I always suggest having a title and tagline where it relates to the project that you're doing, not so much your organization. So if you're doing a community garden and you would talk about maybe the community's name in the garden. You'll see your goal, and you'll see this top black bar where you're going to know when you're logged in, and you can make edits and changes to your page because of this black bar here. And diving deeper, you're going to have giving levels, and you're also going to talk a little about your project and what, yep, you can go on to the next slide. And so you're going to really think about your story and what you're going to be talking through. And so I always like to tell people that a lot of like what's on the slide already, but you're looking at who you're speaking to. So you're looking at those community members, you're looking at your family, friends, people within your community. You're going to look at um, what is the project. You're going to also talk about why the project's important. And then also letting people know how the funds are going to be used, putting in that transparency. And if it's going to be a community garden or whatever is going to take place, also letting them know when you plan to do the project and when you plan to implement. You can do the next page. And so with that, you're really looking when you're building out your page, that's the main components of the page. I do like to suggest to people to always have giving levels. Giving levels are something great that you can add to the page, and you're basically going through, and I like to label them. I've seen people label them for the theme of whatever product they're doing. So if they're doing let's just say a pollinator garden, they'll might label these headers right here as a pollinator plant that's local to their community. And then they will say, thank you, your donation is actually going to help us raise, or your donation is helping us purchase however much of those plants. Or it's going to help us purchase a composting bin for the garden, things like that. And then what makes our platform unique is that we do allow offline donations. And so you are able to collect cash checks and electronic payments such as Venmo, Cash App, and you're able to put it into our site in order to get those donations matched. And I will always do a deep dive whenever I actually have a call with you. And I'll actually explain this a little bit deeper in that call when I talk to you guys. And this is just explaining, we do provide amazing one-on-one project coaching. And with that being said, I will be your project coach and I will guide you through all of the parts from creating your page to offline donations to helping you, giving you the tools in order to see you succeed in crowdfunding. And so with that being said, I will send out an email later. Either I'll send it out probably this week, just explaining the next steps if you choose to do this program, and also giving you the strategy guide and a bunch of different resources that will help you get started at looking at the page, and we can work through that together on a call. Bridget, do you want to talk a little bit about this slide?
Yeah, we always want to remind you that anyone can build a crowdfunding page and they can do it really quickly. They can put information online. But the difference in working with us as your partners is that we give you the strategies we know that work. And primarily, your job in raising funds is really going to understand your social capital. So we have tools that we previously mentioned for how to raise funds, but it really is going to be centered on you and your community and the networks that you've already created. So don't forget your friends and family. Don't forget folks that might already care about your organization or your previous donors, and then spread the word. Oh, Marina, I think you're muted.
Thank you. I didn't even realize I did that. Yep, just like Bridget said, you're really the really keys to success are, knowing who you're going to be contacting, looking at all the community members, different organizations, friends and family, but also, looking at the page and trying to make sure that you have a narrative that also works, and having those great giving levels and being transparent with the people that are going to be donating. And so the most important thing is never to quit. You know, I think sometimes I've worked with people who think crowdfunding is so difficult. I don't know if I should ask people for money. I've never asked somebody for money, and it really they really surprise themselves in the process of the amount of people that want to help within the community to see an outcome that is tangible for them because it's in their community. It's not I'm raising funds for somebody, or I'm going to be able to go to this place, or I'm able to be able to go see what they're doing and see how this positively impacts where I live. You can move on to the next slide. And so for this program, you have different types of projects that you could work on and could go from a subsolar array and purchasing equipment and installation. It can be for green efforts. I've seen, you know, it could be something that's like a rain garden or operational support. This is the variety of project types you have is there's a big gap. So you can really go far with what you have.
And I can add a little piece here. One of the things that's great about this program is ISC is very flexible on where these dollars can be spent. So almost anything that impacts and makes steps towards climate resilience is eligible, right? And so, you know, it's really about what can the community get behind and what is a small project that you're looking to work on together. I'll move on.
And like was said earlier, the timeline is very tight. We would need to confirm your participation for this program by January 17th. And I would work with you to get your pages complete and ready for approval by February 1st. And you would be able to launch your campaign from Valentine's Day, February 14th to March. You can go live between any of these days between February 14th and March 1st, but all projects will have to close on no later than March 31st, and we will be transferring funds in April. So, like was said, it's a pretty tight timeline, but it's definitely something that's doable with your capacity.
And we're here again to support that. Everybody is going to
Yep.
be connected with Marina as well, who will be able to, you know, share insights, work with you on the development of your project page, and kind of cheer you along and check in on you as that campaign is live. So we've seen project pages, you know, be completed in 30 to 45 minutes. It's just about having that content. It's about having that project there, and we can provide some of that feedback. It's pretty quick. And then it's the fundraising side. And lastly
is the budget. So your fundraising goal can be $15,000, up to $15,000 or less. ISC will be matching what you raise. So and Ibrahim, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but they'll be able to they'll start with off with a 1-to-1 match depending on the participation of how many program or partners come in, and then it could expand to a 2-to-1 match.
Yeah, the fundraising match can, you know, has some opportunity to expand there. We recommend starting your goals at $15,000 or less. You know, small projects are not bad, right? And so don't think, oh, I only have a $3,000 or $4,000 project. The smaller the goal, the bigger opportunity for success that you have within that community. And so we're here to kind of assist you and support you in those ideas and putting together a crowdfunding campaign that can be really successful. And yeah, we look forward to working with you. We have also a list of different projects from the last partnership and program with ISC. You can find that at patronicity.com/ISC. There's a whole list of about 6 projects. We'll also be able to share that with you in emails so that you can use them as a reference point in building out your campaigns. This is just an example. And that is everything that we have. We wanted to keep it short. and open up more time for questions and answers that Marina, Bridget, and myself can address.
I'm just going to chime in just really quickly. ISC is offering a 2-to-1 match to start off with, and then we'll reevaluate what needs to be done depending on how many people join the program.
Thank you so much.
Up to 15,000 either way, though.
Anyone has any questions about crowdfunding or fundraising? Again, we encourage you to think of it as the same, right? And so crowdfunding is very similar to everything in traditional fundraising. We actually also incorporate offline giving to it. And it's about expanding the opportunity of the reach that you can have by adding an online component to it. And then there's that transparency. And so this short webinar was just to give a brief overview of what crowdfunding is and how this program will work. But we'll get into the nitty-gritty details in those one-on-one coaching sessions that everybody will have an opportunity to have with Marina.
The other thing I would add too is we meet you where you are. So a lot of times, if you don't have a lot of experience or expertise, we can cater our services based on your needs. And I'm also going to drop a link in the chat to the project that we just had on the last page. It's called the Roadmap to Energy Security. So in addition to looking at the full list, you can check out one that we mentioned.
Excellent. If anyone has questions, you can add them into the chat. I don't know if there were any that came up earlier, or feel free. I don't know if you can unmute, but we're happy to take any questions.
I'm really also excited to be partnering with you all again. This is kind of the heart of our work. One of the beautiful things about supporting organization like yours is seeing and hearing about the impact that our platform can accept donations as small as a couple of dollars, and to see it combined with ISC. Really, ISC's funding makes so much possible, but it's with dedicated and talented folks like you that the impact is really made. So any way that we can support you, we're here.
And as a reminder, we'll have some follow-up. There'll be a follow-up email either today or tomorrow that'll include the link to the webinar, it'll include the slides. It'll also include next steps. As Marla mentioned, or as I can't remember who mentioned, there is a form to fill out by the 17th just to confirm your interest in participating. I suggest, jump in, try to participate, and we can talk you through that process and see, hey, maybe there's a couple more details that you realize this is going to be a lot easier of a process, or there's a couple details and you're like, maybe, for another time. We don't have it in our capacity, but we encourage you to fill out those forms, jump on a call with us, and we'll be able to walk you through that, understand where you are, what project you have, and what that's going to look like.
And then technical assistance with you all is accessible starting today, right?
Yes.
So please feel free to go ahead and make your appointments if you're interested in connecting with the Patronicity team.
And if you go to patronicity.com/ISC, you can see an apply now button, or anywhere on the platform, there's a launch a campaign button. You should be able to start a draft campaign. As soon as you do that, we will get a notification, and within 24 hours usually, someone from our team, Marina most likely, will be following up with you about next steps. So you can see, how to build that page, and then we'll be there to kind of hold your hand along that way to complete it and finalize those details. So we can set it up pretty quickly. I see a question. Yeah, scale of successful campaigns. I'm assuming you're talking about funding scale. We're talking about small dollars, and so the match is a 2-to-1 match, up to $15,000. So even if your project is, if you're looking to raise $7,500, and you get a 2-to-1 match, that's about a $22,000, funding amount in terms of a scale. And then time frame. So we have about setting up the campaign. It doesn't take very long. We need to confirm your participation by the 17th of this month. You can work on building out that campaign by about the 15th of February or 14th of February, and then launching and running that campaign all the way till the end of March. Now, we recommend usually shorter timeframes on running a crowdfunding campaign, 30 days even, but that creates a sense of urgency. And so people are going to see a deadline, and it's going to want to make them participate. Usually in crowdfunding, you see a large, portion of donors and patrons come in the first and last 3 to 5 days. What that means is you're going to have your initial supporters, right? Maybe it's your neighbors, maybe it's the people on your team, maybe it's their family and friends, maybe it's the people who really are connected to your organization. Then you're going to have the rest of us who are just procrastinators, who really support and believe in the work, but just tell themselves, we hit snooze a couple more times. And so keeping that sense of urgency, that short time frame, is really helpful. So from now until end of March, we'll be there to work with you on building that campaign, getting it live, and then once it's live, there's no changes to the page. It's just outreach.
Yeah, and just to add from a data perspective, our individual coaches have higher success rates than the majority of crowdfunding platforms. So I know personally, I have about a 94-95% success rates with crowdfundings. I think there's a misnomer that if you go on GoFundMe, yeah, they have a very low percentage of folks that are successful, but that's because they don't have personalized coaches and they don't have this matching grant from a powerful partner like ISC at stake. So we really differentiate ourselves from other crowdfunding platforms, because if we don't think you're going to be successful, sometimes we have to have those hard conversations and be like, hey, we want you to get there. How can we support you so that you are successful? So yeah, the misnomer about crowdfunding, it really is just like we mentioned earlier. We are your personal trainers. We can give you the tools to be able to successfully raise the funds, but you kind of have to do the work, but you don't have to do it alone. And so while, you might have people online crowdfunding for like, a burrito, and they fail to raise the funds, it's because they don't have the tips, the tricks, the tools, and even we provide you with templates, email templates, social media posts. So all you have to do is quickly adapt them and use our best practices to make you successful. So we continue to see a pretty high success rate with our crowdfunding campaigns. So we want to add you to that list of successful campaigns. Oh, and just to mention, personally, I've supported over 200 campaigns. I know Marina's is getting pretty high up there. So we also have a deep breadth of experience as well. So if you're kind of worried about how to approach it, or if you've tried to crowdfund in the past and missed the mark, our strategy guide really gives you a checklist of how to make sure you can be successful.
Any other questions? Let us know.
In addition, we have worked with Patronicity before with the DEICC program. They were amazing, and the partners that decided to participate were successful through that process. So, all right. Well, if there are no other questions, please feel free to shoot us emails or questions outside of this meeting. But I'm looking forward to watching you all make some extra money. I hope you all have a great rest of your day.
Thank
Thank you
you.
all.
Thank you. Feel better.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day, everyone. Happy New Year.
Thank you.